Hello. If you'd like to know how to use your SIM card for multiple devices, even though Verizon is telling you you have to get a new plan, I'm here to show you how. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to Hindsight 101, where you'll learn about things that will help you in everyday life. My name is Derrick, and I'm going to tell you about how you can use your Verizon SIM card in multiple devices. So let's get started. But first, if you like what you see, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Now let me tell you a little bit of backstory. The reason why I do this is because I like to travel a lot with my family, and a lot of times my phone, I can use it as a hotspot because I have Verizon's Unlimited plan and my iPhone allows it, but I don't like to burn up my battery for long trips. Maybe a short trip, 15-20 minutes, the kids want to watch something on their tablet, that's fine. But for other instances where we're traveling and going out of town, I want to make sure I have something reliable and I'm not solely dependent on my cell phone, which would really burn up the battery because things get hot and heat and your cell phone don't always mix. So here comes into play some of these other hotspots, and I'm going to tell you that you can take your SIM card from your phone and put it in these other hotspots and they'll work just fine. You don't need to buy another plan or anything like that. Yes, you're taking the SIM card out of your phone, but there's a lot of things you can do just on wireless that you don't need your SIM card for. There's a few things like calls, and we'll talk about that in a minute, that you probably will need your SIM card for, but many other things you won't. So let's get started. So first we're going to talk about this little gem right here. This is a Verizon Hotspot. It's been around for many years. Right now you can get it for about 20 bucks. And the reason why this thing is so good is because it's compatible with this cradle point router. It's just a regular router, as you can see, but what's the purpose of this is you would hook this up like you would any other router to your ISP, Time Warner, WOW, Charter, whoever, and then if you lost connectivity to your ISP, you would use this hotspot as a failover, and if your ISP went out, then you'd have this 3G, 4G signal. So let's tell you how we're going to do this. First, I want to show you that I have a 4G signal right here, and we're all connected. So what I'm going to do is you're going to probably need this little package. It's called the Nano Sim Adapter, and basically for older devices that use bigger SIM cards, you're going to need this in order to make sure it fits. If you have a smaller card like I do, the Nano, or you may have to get a different type of adapter depending on which product you want to go with that I'm going to demonstrate today. You also could use a SIM cutter. I've used them in the past. I'm not overly fond of them, but you can get them on eBay for like $5, and they do work, but if you don't know what you're doing, you could ruin your SIM card. Granted, Verizon will probably give you a new one for free, but you really don't want to go through that hassle. And everything that I display today, I'll link down below so you can purchase it if you need it. So first, I'm going to take this little piece right here, and this will pop out my SIM card right about there. There you go. Oops, dropped it. And this is the SIM card. Right there, that's what it looks like. So now I use my handy dandy adapter, like so. There you go. Let's put this thing into place. And it fits just like that. And I put a little tape on the back just to make sure it stays in place. Follow the instructions. Make sure you place the SIM card exactly how you're supposed to. Slide that in. There we go. Now going back to that router, we need to wait a few minutes for the router to initialize. It's better to let everything happen with the router first so it can get started before you put the USB hotspot in, or it won't work very well or won't connect. I've run into that. Looks like we're ready to go. So this is also an antenna, so you just flip it out like so. That acts as an antenna, and then here's the USB port. I'm gonna plug this into the back, like so. And then here, you want to wait for the lights to turn on. Now you're waiting for different lights. You see here you have the power. Here is just saying you have wireless. Then you're going to wait for some other lights to turn on here. Now to get this set up, which I'm not going to show you, you're going to need the VZ Manager. It's old Verizon software to get this connected and set up. And then you just log into this router like you normally would, set that up with your Wi-Fi password, security, different things like that. I won't really show you on that one, but know you have to set these two things up. And then once you plug it in, this should sync right up. So as you can see, the lights are lighting up. We're just waiting for a few more lights right about here, and we should be good to go. All right. Now, these are the lights you're looking for. You want to make sure you have a USB connection. You're getting a 3G, 4G signal. And then right up here, you see it flashing. As long as it's not flashing red, it's flashing like a bluish green. That means you're good to go. So now we know we have a signal. And you can see here, this is the modem name, the MBR95A4AC. I'm going to click on that. Wait for that to connect. All right. Leave here. Let's see. Oh, let's try this. What do you know? We got a signal. All right. That's one way. Let's move on. Next, we're going to talk about probably what you're used to. And this is just a normal Verizon hotspot. This is the newest one they have out, the 7730L. I like this one a lot just because it's dual broadcast, 2G and a 4G signal. It also is a touchscreen. And this is a first for Verizon's hotspots. Most of their predecessors would only broadcast one of the other signals and it wasn't touchscreen. So it makes it a little more convenient. So what we're going to do is plug the SIM card back in here. Since this is a newer one, it takes this nano size, and I can just plug that right in like so. Oops. All right, we're going to turn it on. And as you can see, it's got a 4 out of 5 bars, so it picked up my SIM card. So now let's test it out on the phone. All right. Okay. And like I said, it's the Verizon 7730, so let's click on that. Oops. Here we go. Looks like it already connected. Clear that out. And it looks like we got a signal with this one as well. Still same SIM card. Now my favorite one that I want to talk about is the Verizon router and voice. This thing is great. It hasn't been out that long, but since it bombed really bad because the way Verizon marketed it, they said that you couldn't replace the SIM card, so basically it's one and done, so you couldn't resell it. And plus Verizon has very high rates, so a lot of people didn't like it, so I think they were close to $200. Now they're about $50, $40 on eBay. A great deal for what I'm about to show you. So first off, to replace the SIM card, you got to open it up. Just take the back off. There's a backup battery inside in case you lose power. You want to take that out. And you just got to, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws you have to take out. I've already removed them. It kind of stays in place without the screws, and it's easier to take on and off. You will need special security screwdrivers. torque screws to take them out. I'll link those below, but let's take it apart. Okay, this comes off, and the SIM card goes right here. And then there would have already been a SIM card in here, depending on if you purchased it new or used. So let's pop in a SIM card. So all you're going to do is just slide that SIM card right in. I did need an adapter for this one, the little small adapter. And there you go. So now, this does have to have the battery plugged in order for it to work. Now you will notice this flicker. Nothing's wrong with the unit. It's just the way this screen displays and the camera picks it up, where the normal eye doesn't notice the flickering, the camera does. So you got a couple different things. You have a power button. It lets you know about 4G, lets you know if you have a wireless signal. It also lets you know that you have a wired connection if you want to hook up something. And then you have WPS. You press this button, and then you press the button on your laptop or whatever, and you can automatically sync it. I forgot to mention on the back, here are the hardwired connections. And like I mentioned before, that I said I can do a lot of things wireless, but I would miss out on my phone calls. Where here you can hook up just a regular phone line, and since your cell phone is tied to the SIM card, my cell number will ring through that normal phone, so I don't miss any calls. Like I said, if I'm on a trip with my family and they're watching Netflix and I don't have to put my SIM card back in, I can still get my calls. And then up here, this is for antennas, but I've learned with hotspots, unless you get the really expensive ones, like over $50, putting an antenna on here is useless. So save your money. These have pretty good internal antennas anyways. So here you go. As you can see, we're getting... All right, sorry about that. I had a little problem with my cord, but you notice that earlier it had voice, but no data. And that's how it works. If it's running off of battery, you'll only get voice. You won't get a data signal. But now that I have the plug in properly, we're getting everything we need. So let's test out that signal. Okay, so right now I'm connected to my home. This is the Verizon router, so I'll click on that. We're connected. Let's get out of here. And there you go. We got a signal. So I hope this helped. So I showed you 3 different options. I showed you the regular hotspot, I showed you the router with the failover 4G backup, and then I showed you my personal favorite, the Verizon router, which I think is great for travel or home use. If you want to use it that way, you can get it dirt cheap, and you don't have to get another plan. You can just swap out your cards when needed. Now, I'm not saying this is a permanent solution that you should use all the time, because yes, you are swapping out SIM cards from your phone into another device, but for temporary use or when you're on vacation, this is a great option. Take care.